You found yourself on another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United, and on today's episode, Caris LeVert leads a shorthanded Cavs to a win against Indiana as the resiliency continues to show for Cleveland. The Bulls survive against the Portland Trailblazers, and Malik Monk is the king of Sacramento. He leads the Kings to an overtime win against the Memphis Grizzlies, and we're going to talk about it all on Let 'Em Know Kings United.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United.
Let 'em know, Nation, you already know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United, your Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and Chicago Bulls post-game reaction podcast. I'm your host, Darla Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's program, and you can find Let 'em Know Kings United, which is 100% completely free and available on your favorite podcast app like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that good stuff. And also, you can find this show on my YouTube channel, NJHawk40. If you are watching this show on YouTube, do me a favor, hit the like button on this video if you are enjoying it. Hit subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so you know when the next time Let 'Em Know Kings United goes live, and leave a positive comment down below. Give the show a follow on those platforms if you can, please. Turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. It is an amazing way to support the podcast, and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in to today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. In a season that is plagued full of injuries, the Cleveland Cavaliers showed a ton of resilience, heading to Indiana and taking care of the Pacers 108-103 in a gutsy win that showcased why the Cleveland Cavaliers continue to stay together. The Cavaliers played this game without 3 of their regular starters, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell, who is now dealing with a nasal fraction, and he is going to be out at least for the week. So he's going to be out for tonight's game against the Miami Heat. But despite the injuries, despite the setbacks, despite all the adversity that Cleveland's been dealing with all season, they continue to show their resolve, and this is what I'm really impressed with. They continue to show a lot of resilience because a lot of guys stepped up for Cleveland this year. Isaac Okoro, he has stepped up in a big way. Darius Garland stepped up in taking a leadership role. Caris LeVert stepped up big time. He is the running of the sixth man of the year. I think, though, the winner of the Sixth Man of the Year award will be Malik Monk. Jared Allen, he continues to be the strong big man in the paint. Sam Merrill continuing to knock down threes. But Marcus Morris, this guy got into Cleveland this morning, got in to shoot around, and he made a couple of big time shots in this game against the number 1 offense in the NBA, or at least the number 1 scoring offense, because if you're looking at Indiana, they got a lot of offensive weapons. They got TJ McConnell, they got Tyrese, the point guard, Halliburton, who is in a slump lately. Miles Turner can make some knockdown shots. TJ McConnell is such a pest on both ends of the floor, but this is This is another big win for Cleveland. A gutsy big win for the Cavs as Karis LeVert and Jared Allen each scored 23 points, and Cleveland led by as many as 9 in the final quarter before Indiana pulled even with just 2 minutes remaining. LeVert drove baseline and then pulled up and switched a 9-foot fadeaway jumper to regain the lead. And at that point, the Pacers didn't score again, and the Cavaliers were able to hold on for the victory. LeVert said, "I'm feeling comfortable. I'm very comfortable in these situations. I knew what I was going into." LeVert also had 11 assists and 8 rebounds. Allen had 9 rebounds in this game. LeVert said, "We've got a lot of guys capable of contributing and making big plays down the stretch. Our defense really held up for the last 3 quarters of the game and won us that game. That's a good offensive team. We held them to what? 103? That says a lot about our defense." And I really, really love that, because the Cavaliers established the last few years, ever since I started watching them, over the last few years under J.B. Bickerstaff, the identity for the Cleveland Cavaliers is based on offense. But what really impressed me about in this game for Cleveland, I love the fact that they moved the ball a lot. They didn't remain stagnant on the offensive end. They didn't remain stagnant. They kept the ball moving, and once the ball was moving, we forced the Indiana Pacers defense to move. And once they were moving, they got caught sleeping and they got caught guessing. And that is why Karis LeVert, that's why Marcus Morris, that's why Darius Garland, that's why George Niang, that's why Ice, that's why Sam Merrill, and those guys were able to take advantage of the Indiana Pacers guessing on defense. The absences is signing veteran Marcus Morris to a 10-day contract. Marcus Morris, welcome to Cleveland, buddy. He scored 14 points off the bench in 20 minutes. Mitchell, who averages a team-high 27 points, remains slow by a left knee bruise that has bothered him since the break. It's likely the Cavs will rest him a few more games so he's ready for the postseason. Evan Mobley is out with an ankle, and Max Strus is out with a knee. But J.B. Bickerstaff was really, really impressed with this win, because he says it took toughness, it took resilience, it took togetherness to make sure that we never splintered, even with adversity and ups and downs. Before the game, J.B. Bickerstaff said the Cavaliers need to continue to hold themselves to the standard, and I think they held up to the standard against Indiana, because there were times this season that the Cleveland Cavaliers could have faltered, right? When back in December, when Evan Mobley and Jared Allen and Darius Garland were out for much of the season, for a really, really long stretch, they could have faltered, right? They could have bended, they could have broke down, they could have said, you know what? Let's save our energy for next season. No, they stuck together, they kept the ball rolling, and because of that, the Cavaliers, as of right now, are the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. They are 1 game back of first place in the Central Division. So not only the 3 seed in the East is in play for Cleveland, I still think the Central Division title for the Cleveland Cavaliers, for the most part, is in play for the Cavs. As for Indiana, Pascal Siakam led the Pacers with 19 points and 12 boards. Tyrese had 14 points and 12 assists. TJ McConnell scored 14 points, but Rick Carlisle said, "We're just not getting enough stops." Or Halliburton, he said that we're not getting stops down the stretch. We're not capitalizing enough offensively, and that starts with me. The Pacers dropped to the number 7 seed with the loss, passed by the Philadelphia 76ers, who beat the Miami Heat back on Monday night. The Cavaliers enter the night as the conference number 3 seed, just behind the Bucks and ahead of the Knicks, with a few weeks left in the regular season. This is going to get wild, and this might get a lot of hostile, because at this point in the season, playoff implications are on the line for all 3 of our teams. So all 3 of our teams, the Cavs, the Kings, and the Bulls, need to find a sense of urgency to get
to get in a better or stay put in the playoff position. In this case, the Sacramento Kings are in the 6th seed in the Western Conference. They might be looking to move up. The Bulls are in the play-in. They need to get to 500 to be in a good spot. For the Cavs, they're the 3 seed right now. They need to continue to show some urgency. Rick Carlisle said we did some good things to fight out of the hole, but consistency wasn't there. It is a tough loss. And I honestly think if you are a Pacers fan, I would be extremely worried. I would be extremely worried because as good and talented that the Indiana Pacers are, I think the Pacers are not going to go far because they're not consistent enough. They are not consistent to continue to be good on a regular basis. As for Cleveland, they need to stick together. They need to stick together in the midst of adversity and continue to hold themselves to the standard. And that was a good win to set the tone for this critical stretch. They got a big game tonight against the Miami Heat. Now, as of this recording, I think Duncan Robinson is going to be out. I don't know what the status is for Jimmy Butler. I don't know what the status of all those guys are. But if you're Cleveland, you got to continue to roll. These games are big now. It's playoff time for Cleveland. It's time to lock the heck in. The Cavaliers shot 47% from the field, 46% for the Indiana Pacers. The rebounds were 45-39 in favor of the Pacers. The assists were 28-27 Indiana. The steals were 8 apiece. Blocks were 4-3 Cleveland. The points of the paint, 54-44 Pacers. The fast break points, 18-4 in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So the Pacers, on paper, won most of the stats, but Karis LeVert and the Cavs won the game because of their defense. LeVert and Allen both scored 23 points. LeVert had 23 points and 11 assists, a double-double for him. He also grabbed 8 rebounds, a steal, and a block, shooting 7 of 15 from the field. Jared Allen, 23 points, 9 rebounds, assists, and a steal, and a block, shooting 8 of 12 from the field, but 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Marcus Morris, in his first game as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, he signed a 10-day contract a couple of days ago. He finished with 14 points and 4 rebounds. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 4 of 5 from three-point range. He made 4 big-time threes, especially in the second half. Sam Merrill doing what he normally does, 11 points. He was 2 of 6 from 3, but he was 3 of 8 from the field and 3 of 3 from the foul line. Good stuff for him. George Niang, speaking of good stuff, he was looking really good. 13 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, with a couple of rebounds and a assist. For Indiana, Pascal Siakam, 19 points, 12 rebounds. Tyrese Halliburton, 14 points, 12 assists. 1 block, 1 steal, and 3 turnovers, 4 of 14 from the field. That's not good enough for him. Miles Turner, 12 points. Shooting 5 of 10 from the field with 3 rebounds. TJ McConnell off the bench, 14 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. And overall, good win for Cleveland. Good win for Cleveland. You have one more opportunity against the Pacers to at least salvage a season split against the Pacers, but your focus now is to continue to roll. Continue to roll and be in a good position come playoff time. Last year we were the 4th seed and we know what happened. We know what happened when we were in the 4th seed last year. We got smoked by the New York Knicks. Now that we get the 3 seed, there's a potential playoff push in the 6th seed. It could be the Pacers. It could be the 76ers. It could be somebody else in the 6th seed. It doesn't matter. But what matters now for Cleveland, they got to continue to roll, and they got to continue to hold themselves to the standard, and that is a gutsy, resilient win for Cleveland on the road against a really good offensive team in Indiana. Coming up next, I expected the Chicago Bulls to blow the brakes out of the Portland Trailblazers. I didn't get that because the Bulls, they don't learn. But they made it interesting, though, and they got a win. I'll vent when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United. Now, normally, I would be happy and joyful because the Bulls got a win against the Portland Trailblazers, but I'm not that happy. I'm not that happy at all. I'm actually going to be a little bit negative despite the fact that we won 110-107 against one of the worst teams in the entire NBA. Really, Bulls? Really? Before I get into it, I need to give the credit to Chauncey Billups and the Portland Trailblazers, all right? I think the Portland Trailblazers deserved to beat the Chicago Bulls because, simply put, the Portland Trailblazers put more fight in us. It's not the Portland Trailblazers' fault that they almost won the game. It's almost the Bulls' fault because they have not learned. They have not learned. I don't care if we won this game. I really do not give a damn about the fact that we won this game. The Bulls should have lost. The Bulls should have lost, honestly, because they almost learned a very tough lesson. They almost learned a tough lesson. And again, I don't think the Bulls get it. I seriously do not think the Bulls get it. They allowed the Portland Trailblazers to hang around. When you let a bad team hang around, this stuff happens. We had a 16-point lead at one point, and then what do? That fourth quarter, we became lackadaisical. We became embarrassing on the offensive end. We weren't locking in. We weren't making shots. We weren't making stops. And what happened because of that? The Portland Trailblazers were able to come back and make it a clutch game. Now, thankfully, the Chicago Bulls are really good in the clutch this year. I think they are the number one team in the NBA when it comes to clutch and clutch rating, but that doesn't matter because this was supposed to be a game. This was supposed to be a game where the Chicago Bulls would blow a Portland Trailblazer team out of the water. I'm not knocking on Portland whatsoever. I'm not knocking on the Portland Trailblazers whatsoever. I'm actually giving them credit here because they showed fight. They showed resiliency. They were able to come back and take the lead at one point until DeMar DeRozan said, you ain't gonna do that no more. And Chicago was able to hold on down the stretch and able to get the win. But my freaking God, Chicago, can we learn to play up to the competition and not down? I think the second half we played to the Portland Trailblazers level. Instead of doing what we've been doing all game long, we were pushing the ball in transition, we were getting stops defensively, we were running the fast break almost perfectly. I say almost because there was one point in the game where we got a steal. And in that situation, we were driving down the lane. You were supposed to get a layup, a bucket. We needed points in transition. There was one point in the game where everybody stopped and didn't know what to do. And we took a hesitation three. And I'm like, what in the freaking hell are we doing? What in the freaking hell are we doing? There are times where I think the Chicago Bulls have no idea how to run a fast break. No idea. Ayo Dosunmu actually was really impressive. I love his game right now. I love the game from Ayo Dosunmu. He was fast. He was with speed. He was aggressive once again. And he was taking the ball in transition. But again, I think the Chicago Bulls deserved to lose this game despite the fact that DeMar DeRozan scored 28 and Nikola Vucevic hit a key hook shot with 9.3 seconds left, helping the Bulls edge a Portland Trailblazer team by only 3 points. But let's be honest here. We should have won by even more, right? We should have won by even more. But again, part of it is because of that fourth quarter, we were absolutely pathetic. We were absolutely lethargic on offense in the fourth quarter. DeMar DeRozan said, and I'm going to give you the full quote during this segment, he said we let go of the rope. And I do agree with DeMar DeRozan to a certain extent. We definitely stopped playing our brand of basketball and we played Portland's because of the fact that we couldn't sustain Bulls basketball for all 4 quarters. Portland was able to come back and able to take a very brief lead. Alex Caruso said about DeMar DeRozan, it's sometimes more than just making a shot. It's boxing out against their guys that are crashing hard. It's finding Vooch on the mismatch down low to hit the layup to keep us up 3. He's just a winner at heart. I really wish that the Chicago Bulls have the same mentality as DeMar DeRozan. I really do. But I don't see it. I really do not see it. Alex Caruso does. Alex Caruso has that same mentality. He's a beast on the defensive end. He's the only one that plays defense. He's the only one that communicates on this team. Ayo Dosunmu is starting to build up that mentality with his aggressiveness. Kobe White is obviously showing that mentality. He is the most improved player of the year, despite the fact that he was out for the second straight game due to that hip injury. I hope we get him back against Houston because we need him big time. But my freaking God, why couldn't the Bulls just make this a simple win? Make this a simple win and make me feel good about it. Now that the Bulls made it interesting, I'm really pissed off. I'm absolutely really pissed off. And by the way, Anthony Simons scored 30 points. He scored 12 of them in the fourth quarter for the Blazers, but couldn't get off a 3-point attempt at the top of the key before time expired. DeAndre Ayton, let me tell you something. DeAndre Ayton has drastically improved ever since he left Phoenix. He had 25 points and 15 rebounds in his 6th consecutive game with at least 20 points. The Blazers lost for the 7th time in the last 9 games, while Vucevic had 22 points and 9 rebounds in the Bulls' 3rd win in the previous 4. Dosunmu had a double-double, 23 points and 10 assists, but I'm not that really happy about it. I'm not happy about this win, even though it is the Bulls' NBA leading 24th clutch victory. Under 5 minutes left, moved them within a game of 500, 34-35, but they were outscored 32-21 in the fourth quarter. I'm not happy about it. I really am not happy about it because we dominated for all 3 quarters in this game. More specifically, the second and the third quarter we dominated. But in that fourth quarter, I don't know what the hell we were doing. I don't know if we got complacent. I don't know if we got comfortable with a 16-point lead and we automatically assumed that Portland's done and they were going to rest their starters. You allowed Portland to hang around. That's my problem. That is my problem with this win. You cannot let bad teams hang around. You certainly did a good job at that against Washington a few days ago. Why couldn't we sustain a lead so we could get some backups in there? Rest DeMar DeRozan, rest Alex Caruso, rest all those guys that desperately need rest because Lord knows DeMar DeRozan has played a lot of minutes for the Bulls, okay? He's one of the league leaders in minutes for Chicago. Why couldn't we rest him? Alex Caruso, who gets injured a lot. And I feel bad for that man because he is the defensive captain. Why couldn't we rest him? Nikola Vucevic, who has improved the last couple of games. Why couldn't we rest him and allow Adama Sanogo, Terry Taylor, those guys to get more reps? But team needs reps. Terry needs reps. Andrew Funk needs reps. But the inability for the Bulls to sustain a lead in the fourth quarter, that's what's got me upset. That's what I'm upset about. It's not the fact that we won this game. And don't get me wrong, I will take the win. I will take any win that the Bulls get at this point because they're fighting for a play-in spot. But this is a lesson that the Bulls need to learn. You cannot let bad teams stay in the game. When that happens, you became complacent. And that is exactly what the Bulls did. You became complacent and you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. That's not me being a Debbie Downer. That's not me being like all negative and all that crap. That's just me being perfectly honest. The Bulls deserve to lose against the Portland Trailblazers. DeMar DeRozan said it right on the money. We got lackadaisical, we got careless with the ball, and started to be not as aggressive. We let them get downhill, fouled them, let them get layups. We let go of the rope a little bit. How about for the fourth quarter, you let go of the damn rope? You are undisciplined in the fourth quarter. Undisciplined. You're lucky that DeMar DeRozan saved your asses. You're lucky, Chicago, because if you lost to Portland, I would have went absolutely crazy right now. I would have went absolutely haywire on you. Because quite frankly, despite the fact that you won, you don't deserve it. You don't. Portland deserved to win this game. Because you let them hang around. You let them get confidence. You let them have hope. And if it wasn't for DeMar DeRozan coming up huge, and if it wasn't for Nikola Vucevic's clutch hook shot, I would have tearjaw a new one. And that's putting it lightly. The Bulls, I get that they are one game near 500. They could have 500 tomorrow against Houston. But I'm not happy because we became complacent. We really were complacent in the fourth quarter. 32-21 against one of the worst teams in the league is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. At the end of the day, a win is a win, but it's a bad win. It's a bad win. Call what you want, but it's a bad win for the Bulls. 44% for the field for Chicago, 45% for Portland. The rebounds were 43-40 in favor of Portland. The assists were 26-21 in favor of the Bulls. I love the fact that we shared the ball. 9 steals for the Bulls, 7 for the Blazers. The blocks were 5 apiece. The Bulls did a really good job at taking care of the basketball with only 9 of them. The fast break points were 21-15 Portland. Points in the paint, 56-48 in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. And as far as who led both teams in scoring, Anthony Simons led the Blazers in scoring with 30 points, went 9 assists, 3 rebounds, 10 of 24 from the field, 4 of 14 from 3. By the way, Damian Lillard, who was a Portland Trailblazer, who's now a Milwaukee Buck, was in the United Center watching his former team, the Blazers, played. I find that a little bit weird, Dame Dollar. I find that a little bit weird, but I digress. DeAndre Ayton, he's been hooping. 25 points, 15 rebounds with 2 big-time blocks, 11 of 17 for the field. Scoot Henderson, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, but 6 turnovers. I think he is a bust, considering the fact of how high he was drafted. I think Brandon Miller is the better rookie than Scoot Henderson, but hey, maybe the second year of the league he could prove me wrong, but right now Scoot Henderson is just a bust. Reef did really well, 14 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. Chris Murray had 10 points. Baton had 11, but if I'm the Bulls, I need to thank DeMar DeRozan, and I need to owe him maybe a dinner or something, maybe owe him a massage, because if it wasn't for him, we would have lost. We would have lost. Bottom line, he led the Bulls with 22, with 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 10 of 17 for the field. Vucevich continues to be improved, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 10 of 17 for the field for him. Ayo Dosunmu with 23, with 10 assists, 2 of 6 from 3, 9 of 17 from the field. Look, this was a bad win. This was a bad win. Again, call what you want. Call what you want. A win is a win at the end of the day, but it's just a bad win. And I'm not going to accept another win when we got outscored in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to accept that. If you show up like that against Houston, they will burn you. And I know that Houston does not have Alperen Sengun for the rest of the season. But they have guys like Fred VanVleet, who is an absolute playmaker. Jabari Smith is an absolute playmaker. Jalen Green, who just dropped 42 against the Washington Wizards the other night. Get your minds right and get a better mentality, Chicago. If you do that, you get to 500. If you don't do that and you play like you did in the fourth quarter against Portland, you're in for a long rant. And I do not want to go on a long rant with y'all. I need to see a locked-in Bulls team against Houston. Locked in for 48 minutes, not letting go of the rope, not being complacent, and playing Bulls basketball. Now, Houston's been good. Now, show me that you can play Bulls basketball. Just show me. Not going to talk anymore. Just show me. Coming up next, Malik Monk leads the Sacramento Kings to a crucial overtime victory against Memphis, and I almost thought that the Kings were going to choke it home again. We're going to talk about it when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United.
Malik means king in Arabic. Shout out to my man Mark Jones. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United as the Sacramento Kings avoid disaster as Malik Monk goes absolutely crazy in overtime, leading to a 121-111 win over the Sacramento Kings over the Memphis Grizzlies, completing the regular season sweep of the Memphis Grizzlies. First of all, I thought that Sacramento was going to blow another home lead, and I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Here we go again. But the Sacramento Kings complete a 6-game homestand, going 4-2, a really, really solid homestand. But you know what? I need to be perfectly honest with you. The Memphis Grizzlies, they deserve a ton of credit, bro. They deserve a ton of credit. They played their hearts out all game long. All game long, the Memphis Grizzlies were playing with competitiveness. They were playing with a whole lot of resiliency, like I've been talking about all show long. I think that's the word of the day of the show. They played with a lot of heart, and Memphis just competed. Memphis just competed their hearts out. Even Taylor Jenkins was really happy with his performance with the Memphis Grizzlies. He said, "Very proud of how our guys competed. Give the Kings credit. They made big time plays. Fox at the end of the fourth, Monk taking over in overtime. That was a high level basketball game. Our guys should be extremely proud." And I am extremely proud of the Sacramento Kings because in a way, Sacramento was able to hold off the run that the Memphis Grizzlies were going to get. First and foremost, shout out to Desmond Bane. Welcome back, T-Rex. Desmond Bane came back in a really opportune time for Memphis. They desperately need a leader. They desperately need a scorer, and ultimately they had that. But shout out to the Sacramento Kings because Malik Monk went absolutely crazy. De'Aaron Fox went absolutely insane. Domantas Sabonis, Mr. Double-Double, Mr. Triple-Double, Anthony Davis's father. I don't know what you want to call him anymore, but I need to shout this guy out because Domantas Sabonis, 50 straight double-doubles for that man. 50 straight double-doubles away. He is 3 away, ladies and gentlemen, from tying Kevin Love's record for the most consecutive double-doubles in NBA history. 54 breaks the record, so he's 4 away from breaking the record, 3 more from tying the record, and honestly, he could tie and possibly break the record as early as next week. As early as next week, Domantas Sabonis could be the new leader in double-doubles. I mean, it's absolutely insane. The guy is just an absolute stud, okay? An absolute stud. But apparently the media does not want to give Domantas Sabonis an ounce of respect. Apparently Domantas Sabonis
doesn't get a lot of credit and a whole lot of respect from the media. But who gives a rat's you-know-what about the media? Because the media, all they do is disrespect the greatness that is Domantas Sabonis. But I want to go back to Malik Monk, because Malik Monk completely showed in this game why he deserves to be the sixth man of the year. He had 28 points in this game. He scored 12 of them in overtime, and Mike Brown praised the living hell out of Malik Monk. He said having a guy like Malik close the way he did was a lot of fun to watch. We just put the ball in his hands and put them in a pick and roll action, and he was able to create a little bit of separation and get to his medium game. And he was really on point with it. Also, Malik Monk added 6 rebounds and 6 assists as the Kings improved to 5-1 in overtime games. Malik Monk said, "I feel like I was relaxing a little bit in the fourth. I was just able to turn that around in overtime, and we got the win." De'Aaron Fox once again, De'Aaron Fox continues to be the De'Aaron Fox that we all know and love in this game. He said it's always great when you have multiple guys who can take over a game. With Monk having it going like that, you know that he's also still going to make the right play. And he did make the right play. He made the right reads. De'Aaron Fox had 23 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds for the Kings. Domantas Sabonis, Mr. Double-Double, Mr. Triple-Double, Mr. I need more respect from the media, Mr. the biggest all-star snub of all time. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. I don't give a damn if people think that Karl Anthony Towns deserved to be an all-star more than Domantas Sabonis. You are out of your mind if you're thinking that stature, because Domantas Sabonis continues to prove why this man needs your respect. This man needs your appreciation. This man is an MVP caliber player. This man is an NBA first team caliber player. The guy is getting freaking stronger as the season goes on. As most guys get weaker, Domantas Sabonis is freaking stronger. And that's what's crazy about it. I don't know what kind of workout regimen he does in the offseason, okay? I don't know if he's got a personal trainer. I don't know if he's got a personal chef cooking for him. I don't know what it is, but Domantas Sabonis is just straight up hooping right now, and he's playing his best brand of basketball. And right now, Domas is the true leader of the Sacramento Kings, but I need to fall back a little bit. I need to fall back because I need to send prayers up to Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter suffered a left shoulder injury just 2 minutes into the game. He was attempting a layup when Desmond Bane made contact with his left arm, sending him to the ground. Bane was called for a common foul. I didn't watch the game. I didn't see the extent of the injury, so I'm just going to say that was a good call by the official, calling it for a common foul. But nevertheless, prayers up to Kevin Huerter. I hope he is going to be okay. He is going to be out for the next couple of games, but there's one bad side of this. If you are Sacramento, you are entering trap game territory. You are entering trap game territory because you have a shorthanded Toronto Raptors team. And I mean shorthanded. You have no Emmanuel Quickley. You have no Scotty Barnes, among all other injuries that the Toronto Raptors have. Then you have the worst team in the league in the Washington Wizards. But you know how Washington is. You know how they play with pace. You know that Kyle Kuzma is going to get his. You know Jordan Poole is going to find a way to get his, even though he's been balling off the bench over the last couple weeks. But you cannot get into these two games against Toronto and Washington and one other opponent. I don't know who it is, but I know two of the next few, Toronto and Washington, all on the road. You cannot play complacent right now. You cannot play to the level of their level of the competition. It is playoff time for Sacramento. It is time for the Kings to show some urgency. It is time for the Kings to lock in, because if Domantas Sabonis could make history at this road trip, he could set the double consecutive streak record along this road trip. And this is a tough road trip for Sacramento. If Sacramento gets through the road trip with a couple of big time overtime W's, I can feel really, really confident because the Dallas Mavericks, those two games are going to be absolutely critical. It could decide who gets the final playoff spot in the West potentially. It could decide who's going to be relegated to the play-in. There's going to be a lot on the line when the Kings and the Mavericks go at it for 2 straight games in the Golden One Center, but we're not talking about that right now. We got to focus on these 2 games against Washington and Toronto and just take care of business. Good stuff for Sacramento, though, against the Memphis Grizzlies team who played hard. Give them credit. They played their hearts out. But at the end of the day, Malik Monk is king, baby. 44% for the field for Sacramento, 38% for the Memphis Grizzlies. The rebounds were 59-49, a plus 10 rebounding edge for the Sacramento Kings. 30 assists to 22 in favor of Sacramento. 10 blocks for the Kings to 7, 13 steals for the Memphis Grizzlies to 7. The turnovers, almost 20 turnovers for Sacramento in this game. I think that's not good enough, despite the fact that we won. I still think that we got to take care of the ball a lot better. The fast break points were 19-8 in favor of the Kings. The points in the paint were 50-48 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. And by the way, Marcus Smart did not play this game. He did not play this game because he was sidelined due to injury. He got 2 technical fouls from the bench in the fourth quarter. Crazy. But again, I blame Taylor Jenkins for this. You gotta compose your players. And if you're Marcus Smart, you're better than that. You're better than that, Marcus Smart. You're supposed to be a leader, right? You're supposed to be a general on the defensive end when you are healthy. You cannot do that BS, arguing the officials' calls, because you know NBA officiating is absolutely disgusting for the most part. But Marcus Smart, you know better than that. You know better than that. You got to be more mature than that, my guy. Jared Jackson Jr., 25 points, 4 assists with 4 big-time blocks, leading the Grizzlies in scoring. Welcome back, Desmond Bane, 24 points in his first game back in 37 minutes, 7-19 for the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Aldama did really good as well, 14 points with 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. He also had a block, but it's about the Sacramento Kings. Keegan Murray, really solid game, 15 points with 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Domantas Sabonis, 25 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 6-17 for the field. Another double-double for this guy. De'Aaron Fox, 23 points with 10 assists. Malik Monk, 6th man of the year, I'm telling ya, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a plus-minus, a plus 19. Keon Ellis, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, 2 of 4 from the field in 34 minutes, but he had 4 personal fouls, which is always bad, but nevertheless, this is a good win for Sacramento, a great close to a very solid homestand, but now I gotta take care of business on the road. But like I said before, you are entering trap game territory against a sure-handed Toronto Raptors team and the worst team in the league in the Washington Wizards. You take care of business those 2 games, I feel really confident going forward in the Sacramento Kings. That's going to do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. You can find this show wherever you get your podcasts, like Amazon Music, Spotify, all that good stuff, as well as YouTube. Like this video. If you are watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, leave a nice comment down below, give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, and turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. I'm your host, Skylar Weisberg. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you next time for another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United.